Hi, welcome. Thank you for tuning in today, and I would like to say thank you for following this channel. And today I would like to bring one important topic which normally most of the people go through at some point of time during their career. It's nothing but a job search. Now, I've been doing this. I'm looking for opportunities as and when I was switch the jobs. There are certain things that I followed and which kind of worked out. I'm not saying these are the best tips that you can apply, but having a bigger understanding, and if you apply those tips, will definitely help you to take a little bit further than your traditional ways of doing it in terms of a job search. Now, coming to the point, all of us know, and most of us, there are 2 3 channels which we go through whenever we look for an opportunities. Pretty much all of us are aware of the LinkedIn. So you must have a wonderful LinkedIn profile based on whatever the background you have. Like if you're looking for an opportunities, obviously how you put yourself to the world in a best possible way makes all the difference. The profile, or your achievements or your experience should stand out comparatively to the others. Now, it is as much as easy said and done. There are things that you need to really follow. Other than the LinkedIn, what are the other forms do you have? Second form is that, checking the company names and looking at official company sites and applying through the career site. And third form, pretty much through the references, and pretty much, local area, looking the openings in the newspapers, which is pretty much outdated. So now most of the things comes to about 80% of the time we search, or a LinkedIn profile or LinkedIn opportunities is something that we pretty much go through, particularly at least in the hotel industry, I would say. And as a matter of the fact, any industries, if you look at it, the LinkedIn is being uh, the most top category in terms of changing the opportunities, educating yourself, and connecting with the people in your industries, in your particular industry, etc. Let's break it down that into things that which can make it easier for you. Now, first of all, if you're I'm just going to give you the all examples related to the hotel industry so that you can apply based on your industry how you wanted to distribute or allocate that particular points. Now, for example, you are in a particular location and you are looking for an opportunity. Say in my case, I will just take my example. I'm an executive housekeeper, and then I'm looking for an opportunity for an executive housekeeper, right? Now, suppose I live in Bangalore, and then Bangalore has about 5 to 6 reputed hotels, and pretty much in a five star deluxe category. And when you come down to 4 or 3 star hotels, pretty much given an average about 20 hotels you find in a Bangalore. Now, if someone says that there is an opportunity for an executive housekeeper, say for example in XYZ hotel, now imagine that's a one position. It's not like 30 positions opened up. Now for the one position, and there will be at least 300 to 400 applicants who is applying for the job. I guarantee you on that. Now you have to be very realistic. The position is one, and now you see the opening after 1 week. What are the hours that your application gets into that site? And first of all, to see by the HR person, obviously nothing. Because see, the moment the job posting is done, you should be able to be on a top 10 to 20 list, so that at least you will be visible, your application will be visible. The first 10 20 they look, you ask yourself, if you're a recruiter, now you have one opening and then you have 300 applications. I'm just giving you example, 300. There are times that you get even more. Now, how many applications are you going to go through to fill that one role? The first 10, 20, 30, that's it. Probably you shortlist 3 people, you interview and take the next steps, and so on and so forth. So that's how pretty much it works. Now, you need to identify what are the roles are you looking for. Say, for example, you can go to the next level as an assistant housekeeping manager, or housekeeping supervisors, or a room attendant. Now, you need to understand that specific organization or specific role, how many positions are open? Nobody will tell you that we have a 10 room attendants open. Probably there is only 2 room attendants open. Probably there is only one supervisor position is open. Nobody will publicly tell you that these are the openings, these many are the openings. So, but the first and topmost thing is that you really need to be in a see the opening which is posted in say less than 24 hours and be the first or second one, or at least in the top 20 to 30 people that you are the one who is applying. That is one way of doing it. And the second important thing is that suppose you are in a Bangalore and that's the city where you want to work. Then sometimes you need to be open for the other opportunities. I mean, open for the other locations so that you have a little edge. And every city has their own requirement, their own people who's looking for the job. So you really need to understand, if you're living in the same city, now what are the odds? Are you nearby the place, or are you willing to relocate yourself? And maybe there are times that if you look, for example, I would say there are remote locations where your chances are high if you have a good experience. That's one way of looking at it, so that you have a little bit of an added advantage. So for example, in my case, whenever I look at the remote locations, I would say, okay, I look for the place like Maldives, where people, not everyone want to go, but probably if you have a good experience, you will have a marginal chances that people will look at it based on your experience because you're preferring for a remote location. So there are areas that you really need to understand. Now, for example, coming back to the point that you're okay for the relocation, then based on that you need to understand also, if what are the salary range, and then if that city is going to support the way the salary is offered, and are you be able to manage, or else will you be able to cope up with the salary what you're about to make. Now that is one way of, so always think about number of roles, and if you see the opening after 30 days for 2 opening roles, I suggest don't do it, because no one is going to look at your CV. Just for your satisfaction you'll apply it, but it doesn't make any sense. Now, when the people say actively looking, I'm actively looking for opportunity. What do you mean by actively looking? Now, there are 2 ways you need to categorize yourself. Actively looking means that you should be the top 10 to 20 people to apply that for the role. Now, probably every day you need to, at a certain point of time, dedicate yourself, say 1 hour. I mean, the openings will not come for 24 hours. Every day, say for example, 10 to 11 is the time you dedicate, or 9 to 10, the first 1 hour you dedicate. Suppose you Google, or else, whichever website you're looking at it, look at which position is opened. Okay, now when the position is opened up, say for example, room attendant, you type a housekeeping supervisor. Once you filter that, don't go beyond, I would say, don't even go beyond 3 days, because there is no point, because there must have been 100 applications which is already sent, which probably they don't even look at it. So you look at that 24 hours to 48 hours, I would say 3 days is a maximum, and those are the ones which you need to prioritize. Now once you apply that, now there is wonderful platform, we all know that LinkedIn does wonderful things. Now pretty much we can try to Google the name of the person who is heading the HR or heading the department, and so on and so forth, and try to connect them. Not everybody is going to say connecting to you and respond to you. It's okay, you're not losing anything, you're not paying anything. If someone responds, say thank you and then keep connecting. That's how you build the connections in a LinkedIn. There are genuine people who wanted to try to help you, but at the same time, if someone don't respond, don't worry, it's all part of life. Now the second important thing is, how many applications can you do during the day? Say if you see 10, 20, so you need to keep doing it. And one important thing you need to understand is that expect the rejections. Not everyone is going to respond to you. You can apply every day 10 to 20 applications. Probably after 30 days, no one will respond to you. It doesn't mean that you're not experienced, you're not qualified. There are many people trying to do exactly something what you're doing. It. So nothing wrong with you, but at the same time, the competition is more. But you need to see, along with actively looking for opportunities, you need to see actively learning opportunity. So what are the things that you need to develop, how you can do better, what are the skills that you can add on when you have this free time. It's something that you need to keep building your skills. Actively looking and just posting one post and the headline of your LinkedIn doesn't help you. So you really need to see, along with actively looking, which is a very important step, because unless until you look, unless until you keep trying it, keep trying for another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you never know when you're going to get that, land the job. There's a first step of at least receiving a call or receiving a mail that they wanted to review your CV. And the second thing takes an interview, and they're going to interview like 3, 4, 5, 10 candidates. And if you're a lucky one, based on your experience and the things what they look actually in that particular role, you probably land in a job. It's a long process. It's not all going to happen in one day. So not many people get jobs through the LinkedIn. What LinkedIn does for you is to give you that interactions to the people in your industry, so that you can learn from them, and you can perhaps ask. As I said, there are people never going to respond to you even if you send a request. But at the same time, there are genuinely people who are going to help you with their advice, with their expertise. Probably if you're, going through, being part of their thing is that probably you get connected. You see some openings which you never see before in a regular way than the other way. So that's how you need to. It's very good to build relationships, not because you're expecting some jobs, but at the same time to understanding how the industry is progressing and who are the peers who are more experienced, what you need to learn, how you can build the relationships, and how the people are communicating. And there are many ways that you can learn through this basic learning platform. And then many people make some negative comments. Oh yeah, LinkedIn never give the jobs. Definitely LinkedIn is not going to give the jobs. Imagine that one executive housekeeper position, 1,000 people are applying. Think as a HR person, do you really think that if there is a one opening, do you really think that the HR has enough time to review 1,000 applications to find one? Come on, let's be realistic. So it doesn't mean that you need to get disappointed. Keep continuing building your relationships, building your experience. And there are times you got to find a job. And presenting yourself. LinkedIn profile is presenting yourself the best possible way with the experience, your achievements, so on and so forth, along with connecting with the people. Learning from them. And probably you will see some things which you never see before in normal platforms, and that's where you try to connect with that person, that particular hotel, and so on and so forth. It's okay even if they connected, say thank you, and being the part of their professional network, and then keep building the relationships. Maybe after 10 years or 5 years, someone is going to say, hey, you know what, there is an opportunity you probably would like to review if you're available, so on and so forth, because that's what it does. Probably not going to give you immediate returns or immediate results, what you're looking, but that building relationships can take you a long way if you have enough patience. Now, that is one part of it. So we discussed about what you need to do. You need to be the one first, 24 hours to 48 hours. Filter that. There is no point of looking at the openings which has 7 days, 30 days. Definitely you're not going to get anything. One thing is to look at the LinkedIn jobs. If you look at it, pretty much any openings, reputed MNC companies, which will always come. Second is directly going through the company websites and applying through the career site, registering yourself. There are times you find opportunities, and don't fall into the people that are, people who are seeking attention, and they say, okay, there are openings and so on and so forth. The email IDs are fake, so on and so forth. But if someone says that there is an opening here, you directly look at the company website and apply through the career website. Now, that's one way you can do it. Though there are some genuinely doing it, but then most of the time people want to have an attention and build connections, giving these false things, which is not fair. But at the same time, probably they enjoy doing that. So in taking that other people's emotions, which is not a fair thing to do. But at the same time, never get disappointed. One more important thing, many people tend to forget is, while you're working, building a relationship with your boss is very important. There are times, yes, there are people who is mean to you, who is, you don't like the way how they function. But fortunately, when you're starting up a career, you really need to build some good relationships, because at the end of the day, you cannot be passing out from the industry and say in 1 year you know everything, and that's being a little more stupidity than learning from how the actual world works and functions. So you need to have a little patience to build the relationships, and then if you really want to have a long-term career, long-term vision, other than the the central government jobs you might find, the private jobs, you must have a good references checks, because whenever you're applying for the next job or next job or next job, HR mostly asks the references. You should be able to freely give your previous employer details or previous your boss wherever he would be working to give you some positive feedback about you. That's very important. None of the HR company is going to call your mother and father and relatives to give you the reference. If that's the case, and then obviously they will give you the wonderful reference. But you as an individual, to move on to the next level and next level, next level, first of all, you need to basically, once education is done, you need to have a proper experience. Well, it takes time. As a fresher, pretty much you get either through the campuses, or else definitely they always take the references from your college or the professors you work with, so on and so forth. But then particularly in a professional environment, wherever you go and then you keep changing the job, people always ask the references. So make sure that irrespective of even you don't like your boss, keep having a good relationships, at least to to get to move on to the next level and next level, because you don't need to pretend, but at the same time, that's how you will develop as well. So end of the day, actively looking is fantastic, but actively looking in a smart way is what makes you difference. Most of the time I say that you need to have a professional, your LinkedIn profile is nothing but your resume. So try to work out to put yourself the best version of yourself, and not to pretend that you are the best version, but natural way, that what is your achievements, what is your experience, what can you contribute to the company, and try to communicate irrespective of not only when the time that you're looking for a job, but in general, spend some time to interact with the people in your industry and see what best can you get and what best can you learn from. Always be the first one whenever you're looking for the jobs. Always be the first one, at least less than 48 hours. Depends on location, number of roles, number of positions open, and I'm sure in your area, whatever the analysis or marketing, sales, revenue, whatever it is, what particular, suppose if you ask me the hotel department of say 200 or 300, there's only one department head. If you have 10 hotels, and then pretty much if one is opened up, there will be easily 300 400 applicants. Most of them, you can say that always look for the references. If you have a reference, I worked here, internal transfer, anything goes. So you don't need to get disappointed because you're not getting the results or response, because that's the way it works. Okay, there is one thing that I really wanted to add. You looked at it, you did your part less than 48 hours. If you happen to connect with that HR director or general manager or the hotel manager of that particular place, fair enough, you get connected. If you don't get a response, forget about it. Keep moving, look for other opportunities, because there's no point of you keep sending the same, applying in a same website. It seems like your door is shut, and then you right outside and keep pushing it. And people can tell you, okay, never give up, keep trying. Let's be realistic, okay? There are opportunities opening up, and then see the best ways that you can connect. And if you do all the things what you do, and if you don't get results, it's fine. That's how you learn, and then you try the next person. Outcome is not in your hands. Your action has to be in your hands, and you put your best action, leave the outcomes outside, because out of 100 applications, maybe 2 will respond. Out of 2, probably you will succeed on 1. You can take that as 1,000 applicants, probably 4 or 5 will respond, and you line up having 1 interview, probably you will fail it. Now the process, the experience will teach you to do better in the future, rather than giving up. Fortunately, you need to get master at it, and try to be realistic and see the best, put yourself best version of it. Along with actively looking, always actively learn what best can you learn in the role where you are looking for. So I hope that helps, and for you to put some best practices. And thanks for watching. Good luck and all the best.